In the previous video, I talked about basic Tauri project setup. In this video, I will talk about window and title bar customization. However, these customizations are platform specific and could look different on different platforms. I will be using macOS in this video, and you may need to experiment with your own operating system. By default, Tauri gives us a window like this. It's good enough, but what if we want to make it look better and look differently? Tauri provides API that we can use to customize the look of a window. For example, you can make a semi-transparent window and have a window-style title bar with window-style buttons. You can also remove the title bar and use a sidebar while keeping the original buttons from macOS. You can create a window with no title bar or buttons at all. In this example, I have to press Escape to close the window. But of course, you have to write the logic. And if you think the corners are too sharp, we can make it round. You can even create a fully transparent window with animation in it. Basically, you can create a window of any shape. So let's get started. In this video, I will be using Svelte and Tailwind CSS for styling, or the source code I use will be in my GitHub repo. Let's start with decorations. In Tauri config file, we can customize a window style with many options. In the documentation, search for window config for a full list of options and their explanation. The decorations option determines whether the window should have borders and title bars. By default on Mac, a window has a title bar with buttons and the corners are rounded. If you set decorations to false, you get rid of the title bar and rounded corners. Tauri config file is not the only way to configure window style. You can create window dynamically using Tauri's API. The WebView window class takes in options. It's similar to switching to a new tab in a real browser, so you can pass URL to it as well. Actually, I only use Tauri config to set style for the initial window. If I need to open new windows, I always use JavaScript API to do it. Disabling decorations also removes the nice rounded corners, so let's bring it back. I added this button to my Svelte code. For this window, I disabled decorations and enabled transparent. Note that on macOS, you have to enable macOS private API in Tauri config file for transparent window to work. Clicking on the button will open a new window with the URL being no buttons rounded. On this page, I apply a background color to the page so that it's not fully transparent. Then I added Rounded XL Tailwind class to make the corner rounded. If you still don't get rounded corners, consider setting the body to transparent as well. Change the opacity of background and we get this semi-transparent background. Adding a blur backdrop filter gives us this blurred semi-transparent window. Next, let's look at the window customization tutorial in Tauri's documentation. If you follow the instructions in Tauri's documentation, you will get a window like this. Let's quickly go over how it works. First, you need to go to Tauri configuration JSON file and disable decorations. This will remove the default title bar and buttons in the title bar. Also, in the allow list, you need to enable the window APIs so that the custom title bar buttons can function properly. The close and maximize minimize buttons require these APIs to work. Or you can simply enable all window APIs like this. First, add this CSS. These are for styling the buttons and title bar. Then, go to the file containing the app layout and add this to the top. For example, for SvelteKit, add this to routes layout.svelte. For Next, add this to layout's default view. For React, it's usually app.tsx. It's different depending on the framework you use. The data Tauri drag region attribute of the title bar makes the title bar draggable. Otherwise, your app cannot be moved. The class names are for styling. The images are for the buttons. They don't have to be images. For example, I can make them emojis. IDs are for JavaScript code to select them and attach click events to them. The app window object from Tauri API is used to manipulate the window. But in modern JavaScript frameworks, we no longer add onClick listener like this. So we don't really need these IDs. Here's the final version of my Svelte code. Very simple. Next, let's talk about overlay. We have seen many beautiful apps on Mac that have this iconic 3 buttons for macOS and no title bar. Instead, they have sidebar. Native apps can achieve this easily with Swift UI. So how can we make a similar UI with Tauri? With decorations, you get the 3 default buttons on macOS, but you're stuck with the long title bar at top. By disabling the decorations, you get rid of the title bar, but you have to add the buttons manually. It seems like we fall into a loop. Should or should not we disable decorations? Here's the solution. The title bar style option allows us to adjust title bar style on macOS. The valid values are visible, transparent, and overlay. The default is visible. We will set it to overlay, and let's also hide the title. Here's how the page looked like. We got rid of the title bar, but still keep the 3 buttons. However, currently the window is not draggable. We have to manually define a draggable region. You can manually add the drag region like this, make its position absolute and stay at top, with a height of 8 and full width. Now you can drag the top region to move the window. In developments, you can give it some background color to visualize the position and shape. You can customize the draggable region however you like. For example, it doesn't have to have full width. You can make the window draggable only on the region around the buttons. With some simple styling, we can build a beautiful sidebar. Let's make something even cooler. Doctor Strange can open Magic Portal, and so can we with Tauri. On CodePen, I found this Teleportal Animation built with P5.js. Remember, Tauri apps are simply browsers, so we can integrate this into Tauri as well. Simply set transparent to true in Tauri config. In the code, load P5.js library first, then load the animation JavaScript code. Here's the result. I implemented this effect when I was writing a file transferring feature with Tauri. I thought it would be cool if the animation is displayed when the file is being transferred. That's all for this video. More Tauri videos are coming. Stay tuned.